No more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, refractive lens exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
With Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, and so it starts as it ends. Season comes to an end on Friday, and well, the off season, which really isn't an off season, begins in earnest immediately. Good morning to you. Merry Tuesday, opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC on a glorious, happy. Well, it's a kind of a crazy little day around here, isn't it? Crazy little Tuesday with Jamal Mashburn Jr. in the transfer portal, his roommate and buddy Sebastian Forsling with him in the portal. It's the opening drive. Good morning. How you guys doing?
What it do?
You all right? You okay back there?
I'm great. I'm fantastic.
All right. This is I can't imagine who is surprised by Jamal Mashburn Jr. in the portal. And I've seen the difference in the responses, which I expected. Some of you are really bummed, and some of you are borderline giddy. And I guess the responses are somewhere in between as well. 94 games to Lobo. He's the 10th leading scorer in the history of the program at over 1,600 points. Averaged over 17 points a game at UNM, 3-time All-Mountain West selection. Led the team in scoring his first 2 years. He led the league in scoring last year, not this most recent season, but 2 seasons ago. He had a strained tendon in his right shooting thumb this year. I really believe he was hurt more. JJ surprises me zero. He didn't really put out a statement as to why. I think the noise got to him. I think it really did this year. I've never felt that the fans had a big part in a player's decision to leave in the past, but I kind of feel that with Jamal Mashburn. Well, Colin Neal.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it got to that point, and they were discussing to Jamal Mashburn Jr. late in the season. He sends out a tweet like, "I'm keeping receipts." So he's hearing the noise, and it's easy to say turn it off. It's hard to do. And he was struggling this year. And I think a lot of that does come to the injury he had on his shooting hand because he didn't have the same kind of consistency. And he had a really good 3-year career. And I think most people have got to the point where they felt that backcourt hit the ceiling. Is a lot of people will act like they love Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr. But to your point, they're kind of like, whew. Yeah. All right, now it's on to Donovan and True Washington and the transfer.
Yeah, and what else you got? And look, you got a really talented freshman guard coming in Cade Dotson from Beaumont, Texas. You've got a shooting guard in Dylan Chavez coming in, and more so you got a 6'10" power forward in Jovan Milicevic coming in. And then when you get in the portal, and look, this won't be the last person to jump in the portal. I firmly believe that. It's high profile. It's really interesting to see the response. And again, the Twitter is I don't know how much of a gauge sometimes that is on public opinion. Fans around this league who the unity flag is over, by the way. That was a 3-day ceasefire, where everybody was pulling for the MW. But Aztec fans back to being Aztec fan and taking shots at everybody, and everybody's back on them, and Utah State fans back to being them, and Boise State fan. I mean, you're all back in your own camps now. But it does amaze me some of the shots the Lobo fan was taking at other fan on the Twitter, by the way, after getting beat the way they got in the first round. But anyway, the majority of them are like, we'll take him. Like, he's welcome to be here. I will say this again, and I told you, I don't know, a few weeks ago, that I feel that this is what this young man is due. I told you I would do it, and I did do it. But I think Lobo fan should shake this young man's hand and look him in the eye and say thank you for bringing back Lobo basketball, him and Jalen House. And I will stand steadfastly behind Jamal Mashburn was everything you want a player to be to represent your program. He was good, first of all, really good, like all conference good. JJ led the league in scoring 2 seasons ago. He was an upstanding and outstanding human being. He was well spoken. He was there. He was the face of the program for a while. He, by every account, did everything the right way. Worked his butt off. Was the first guy back out on the court after halftime. I mean, in practices, he is everything you want a Lobo to be if you're a Lobo fan. And again, I will stand steadfastly by this. You know, it's over. He's transferring. But if you see him in the grocery store or at the airport or at the dog park or wherever, I think the right thing is you shake his hand, look him in the eye, and say thank you for the way you represented yourself and for bringing Lobo basketball back, because he's the guy who took a shot, left the Big Ten program, came down here to a program that was not in good shape, had never seen this place, came with a coach whom he trusted. And he's the epitome of what I'll keep saying it. You know, the epitome of what I think I wanted to represent whatever program I stood for, but what I think you want your program to be.
Absolutely. And for Jamal Mashburn Jr., he had an outstanding career at UNM. It was a bummer that he wasn't able to be as consistent at the end of the season. And I think fans realize that what Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. did for this program. That's why the building was packed. It's why players wanted to come here after the fact, is because of that backcourt. Don't forget that too. I know it's NIL and everything, this or that. But yes, they got money, but they also saw that there was a chance to win with these guys in the backcourt. And what Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn did for 3 years to help put Lobo basketball on the map. Everyone at that program understands it. It's one where I think there's always so much in the moment. And everything you just said about Jamal Mashburn Jr., I think it will ultimately get back to that point, because it was a little frustrating, the amount of people that just looked at him all of a sudden and was like, this dude doesn't do anything for the team. You know, if he's not hitting shots, well, he's a terrible defender and he's not a playmaker, and does he even work on his game? And it's like just the ridiculous stuff that happens at the end when you're struggling. And I think once you get into the off season, think back on where this program is and why you're upset, it's because the expectations are back. And you're expecting so much from this basketball team in that backcourt starting.
I think your point of him and Jalen attracting players to play with him is right. The other thing, and I've heard this and had it confirmed from a lot of people. My understanding, JJ, he didn't take NIL. I heard somebody else in the market say we could just slide that NIL money over to guys coming or to Toppin. And from my understanding, and because the NIL comes from a collective and it's not from the university and they don't have to report what anybody makes. My understanding was he was like, no, I'm good. Give it to others. As far as those big NIL numbers, I believe this is a guy that I believe the program will miss, and you'll be fine. You'll go forward. You're going to get players. I'm not telling you this destroys the program. Please don't hear that. That's not what I'm telling you in any shape or form. I think Richard will go out and find players. He's got players. He's in the process now of recruiting his roster. I firmly believe that as well. But you're right, JJ, it was probably time, right? 3 years, a long time now in college basketball. Those of you
How about that? There's so many people that are like, oh, I can't stand this. Why aren't people committing? And then you're like, all right, go, people. Go, so we can get someone else.
It's kind of the same people, right? It's the people who are mercenaries and why are they in? And I don't want new players and a new team every year. And when am I going to get to learn the team? And by the same token, you're like, yeah, I'm done with you. And I just sometimes, man. And again, I'm not going to tell you he was all conference this year. He struggled. I'm not telling you he was, but I'm telling you he was better than a lot of people. I'm telling you that he didn't forget how to play basketball. I firmly believe he was way more injured than anybody let on this year. He didn't forget how to shoot, dude. He just didn't. He was as good a mid-range shooter. I mean, look, the year prior to this last one we just had, he was considered by not just people around here, JJ, by basketball people who follow college basketball as one of the best shooters in America. Correct?
Yes.
Mid-range shooters. He didn't forget how to play. So I think this is a guy you're going to miss. I think I think it's a bummer. I get it. Fresh start, you move on. And again, I'm not telling you won't be better. I'm not telling you won't be worse. I'm not telling. I think you're going to miss this guy. I think he was great for this program. I think when you go down the list, and he won't be on there, I don't think, and I think he should be. When it comes to all-time best Lobos, most influential Lobos, House and Mashburn will forever be tied at the hip, right? But JJ, when it comes down to the influence, the impact on a program, I mean, you're going to go back to the Kenny Thomases, and we'll go back to the Danny Grangers, and right, these two guys, and I don't know that one more than the other, but House and Mashburn were as impactful at a really fragile time in the history of this program as, I mean, dare I say, almost any Lobo. You can go back.
It's not. I know what you're saying. It's not, the guys that won tournament games, but it's the guys that got you expecting this team to be back in the NCAA tournament. Because there was that stretch from 2015
to now.
So last year, Paul Ware, where there was not the excitement. There was not filling up that building. It was hard to find hope. It was hard to be like, man, can this team compete in conference, let alone get to the NCAA tournament? Yeah. And the last 2 years, you're back to that.
Yeah, I know that's a bold statement. And again, I'm not telling you Jamal Mashburn Jr. and or Jalen House are the best players in the history of the program. I'm not. I'm telling you that they are. Those two guys had as much impact on a program as, and I've watched this program now for 28 seasons. Okay, and JJ, I'll go back. Danny Granger was when he came over from Bradley, that was huge. J.R. Giddens coming from Kansas, the way he played in his senior year with Steve Alford was really, really good. Kenny Thomas was insanely impactful. Him staying home and being the cornerstone for a program that went to 4 straight and second rounds of the NCAA tournament. I think these two guys are up with those guys. Am I missing somebody else in there? I mean, would you say Drew Gordon, Kendall Williams in that group? I mean, who in that group would you say would be of that? Just the fact that when the program was so down, those guys came in and immediately turned this thing around.
Yeah, they have a different place in Lobo history because a lot of those other ones, it's NCAA tournament, but this team did win a title in Las Vegas. They're able to cut down debts, get the program back to the NCAA tournament after a 10-year decade, and the foundation of the last 3 years is Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. And I believe the majority understand that, the majority see that, and I think with Mashburn, for a lot of people, it will be that attitude of right, new scenery, like it's time. Thank you, but and I think it's two with the size. I think Mash, could he have been the 2? Would you have been happy if he was 2 coming back along with Donovan Denton and someone else at the 3? We'll never know. But you tip your cap because now all of a sudden that bar is back and people are locked in the Lobo basketball.
Yeah, but now it's onward. But I want your thoughts as Jamal Mashburn goes into the portal, and Sebastian Forsling too, and a guy that, I mean, if you ever met Sebastian Forsling, by the way, it's impossible to not like him. Like, really like him. And, he said he was leaving for his mental health. The two of them are really close, really close. So we'll get into that more, and I want your thoughts at 505-246-0610. Kenny Thomas is due to be with us today. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we'll kick it with Kenny, get his thoughts on the tournament and the transfer portal and the Lobos bowing out on Friday. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. When we come back, Shohei said what? And, that's not the only gambling story in professional American sports. It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The sports animal, your home for March Madness, from the first 4 to the final 4.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres.
They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain.
Who's that?
That's your new buddy in jail.
I'm going out, Grandma.
When are you coming home?
I'll be home late. Don't wait up, okay?
Be careful, mijito.
Love you, Grandma.
Mijito. He's a good man. Sometimes he just makes bad decisions. I tell him, mijito, cuidado. Be careful. You might hurt someone. He doesn't listen.
Until you stop, okay?
Hello. It's me.
Hi, mijo. Where are you?
Dale was drinking and driving. I need you to come and get me, okay? Please, Grandma? Can you just come and get me? Grandma?
Leave him in jail.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
What's going on, Level Nation?
JJ, I'll give him this. It looked like he was speaking. I don't know if you guys watched, both of you guys watched the room, the press conference, but it looked as if he was speaking to the reporters in the room. He said that he never gambled on sports. He never instructed his former interpreter, Ipe Mizuhara, to wire money from his account to pay a bookmaker, that Mizuhara basically, quote, has been stealing money from us and has told us lies, end quote. I thought he came across, and again, it's lost in the translation, but it wasn't, he was just straight reading off of a sheet, came across as believable and genuine. I don't know what your thoughts were.
Him sitting there reading a prepared statement doesn't change my mind. Because
did you think that's what he did, was just read the statements?
Yeah. Because this is so big. Like, this is his career. This is his career, Major League Baseball. You're prepped by your lawyers. You're prepped by everyone.
Mm-hmm. The Dodgers,
saying,
baseball.
Double down on this story.
Yeah.
If it's true, we'll find out. Because with the amount of money that was transferred, they're going to figure out where it came from, whose thumb on the iPhone or whatever it may be was the one that approved it. So I think we'll find out for sure. But what happened yesterday was exactly what I expected. You cannot take yes or no questions at that point in time. You read your statement, you double down on saying you had no idea that this good buddy of yours who you're joking with in the dugout
all the time
last week, when the story was breaking, when they were playing games against the Padres, he was there, is the outright worst person you've ever met now, and stole from you.
Ipe, according to Shohei Ohtani, quote, has been telling everybody around that he has been communicating with Shohei on this account, to my representatives, to the team, and that hasn't been true. During the team meeting, obviously Ipe was speaking English, but I didn't have a translator on my side. But even with that, I kind of understood what was going on and started to feel there was something amiss. Prior to the meeting, I was told by Ipe, let's talk one-on-one after the meeting in the hotel, so I waited. So up until that team meeting, I didn't know Ipe had a gambling addiction with a massive debt, and it was revealed to me in that meeting that Ipe admitted that he was sending money using my account to the bookmaker. That moment, obviously, it was an absurd thing that was happening, and I contacted my representatives at that point. When I finally was able to talk to my representatives, that's when my representatives found out Ipe had been lying the whole time, and that's when I began contacting the Dodgers and my lawyers. The Dodgers and lawyers at that moment found out as well, as they'd been lied to. Quote. The IRS is in on it. The FBI is in on it. I agree with you. And at some point, the bookmaker is going to sing and let them know who he was. I think that's really where the smoking gun is, right? Who did the bookmaker speak with, and why did you allow a dude who's making between $300,000 and $500,000 a year to run up a debt of $4.5 million?
Well, he said he was. The interpreter said he was making $85,000 a year.
Is that what he said himself?
Yeah.
There's no way they're paying that guy $85,000 a year in LA to pay. I mean, there's no way, right?
So, I guess it was 2 or 3 days ago, Trisha Thompson on ESPN put out a timeline, because ESPN actually had a beat on the story about a week before it came out.
That's right. No, it was Trisha Thompson who was all over the story.
Yes. So he, in this 90-minute interview, said that he got paid $85,000 a year by the Angels, and basically said he was trying to keep up with Shohei's lifestyle and was living outside of his means, and kind of.
That's hard for me to believe, man.
Oh, I totally agree.
I'm sorry, dude. Like honestly, to live in Orange County, and I'm not looking to downgrade anybody's job, so I'm not going to just pay. But I mean, $85,000
Major League Baseball.
It's just the report that I saw earlier was it was making between 3 and 5. I'm going to lean on that one. If you're saying 85, I mean, it almost makes me understand why he's chasing down money.
Well, it's interesting.
85 grand is nothing. I mean, honestly, to live in North Carolina and do that job,
taxes and everything, you're walking with less than 50. I mean, that's tough. And it's interesting how he came across the bookmaker, because the bookmaker actually played golf with a former teammate of the Angels that is now in the Braves.
Is that right?
Can't think of his name offhand, but essentially he was invited into a poker game with MLB players. That's kind of how the interpreter met him.
Trying to keep up with these guys, right? So
Right.
if you're making, and let's even say you're making 300, but if you're making 85 grand a year and you're playing with these guys who are making millions, you're in the wrong room.
Well, and the bookmaker probably thought he was making millions, and that's probably why he gave him the credit.
So you think that not because he was tied to Ohtani?
Well, that too, but I mean, he misunderstood his financial.
So he
situation.
big dogged it, and yeah. All I know is this dude's way out over his skis, and now he's dragging Shohei with him. I will tell you this, and that's great. I thought Ohtani came across as relatively believable. If you didn't, I'm cool with that too. By the way, like I am, and I think his story is plausible, but I'm not going to sit there and take his word for it. They will investigate. They will get to the bottom of this, and if he did know about it, he's done. He won't play baseball again. I mean, there's no options here. This is Pete Rose. This is Joe, Shoeless Joe Jack. Right? There's no option. I don't care if he's Shohei Ohtani or Ohtani Shohei, right? Somebody you've never heard of. There's no options here, right?
None. We'll find out. And I think a fair question right now is, are you confident enough that with the interpreter removed from the situation to go forward with Shohei playing baseball for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
I think he's going to play opening day
while this is going.
Yeah, I
think the answer to that is yes, because they're going to give every single benefit of the doubt to Shohei Ohtani, because he is the best thing that's happened in Major League Baseball in 30 years. Since at least Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were having a home run derby between each other. Barry Bonds smashing homers, and after that, you're like, wow.
Dude, he's an AL MVP. He signed a 10-year, let me give you the number again, $700 million contract. With $680 million deferred to the 10 years following the contract. How does this work? If he, they don't pay him, right? I mean, if he gets thrown out of baseball, his contract's void, right?
I would assume.
Then all of a sudden, that $4.5 million hurts a little bit more that he just sent to a bookie.
I'm just so surprised there were no checks and balances on the interpreter. Is there really only one person who can interpret in the entire club?
Well,
that just seems unusual.
But what's the interpreter saying to him in private, right? I mean, I don't know that anything was lost in public. I think it was just between the two of them in private, right? And this is your guy that you're with all the time, and this is, basically his. I
mean, he said when he was addressing the team, he could kind of figure that something was amiss, as he said. So having one dude control the communication for someone that important seems really unusual.
It's insane, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. And then there's...
Because they were friends.
Yeah. He didn't know he trusted him. He flat out trusted him. I mean, JJ, you're right. I mean, he was family to him, right? It's my guy. And I'm sure Shohei was taking care of him and picking up everything and paying for his golf, and obviously paid his gambling debts. And I mean, he was family, right? And dude was living a life. I mean, look at the life that dude's stumbling into. I'm Shohei Ohtani's interpreter. I'm going everywhere. I'm living the major league lifestyle. I'm sure I'm probably pulling some random women on the road. I mean, right? I roll with Shohei. You know Shohei? Yeah, I'm his voice. Hey, baby, how you doing? You think I'm kidding?
There's a lot of perks to being Shohei's guy.
I'm going to guess. And then he got over his skis and got a little too cocky. And I don't know. But that's not it. The NBA's got a little gambling issue that they've got to look into. And it's a guy maybe you haven't heard of. And that's kind of the point. They got a big, big issue, and they'll crack down hard on this guy. If, in fact, that is true, that's coming up next. Hey, it's springtime. Tax time. What are you going to do with that refund? How about using some of it to protect one of your largest investments? I suggest you take part of your refund and call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Have them meet you at your convenience to detail your vehicle. Detail your vehicle on your terms, where it works for you, when it works for you, at your office, at home, wherever. And when they're done, it looks and feels and smells brand new. You can have that new car feel without getting a brand new car. Award of Best of the City because they'll make sure they leave your car looking, feeling, and smelling brand new. They also have window tinting services that'll help you prep for that summer heat. Move today and go over to otsdetailing.com. You can schedule and book and buy right there. It's otsdetailing.com.
This message is brought to you.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The All-Star Game is back in Albuquerque. March 22nd and 23rd, the state's best are under one roof. Visit nmhca.com for tickets and streaming information.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Davis, former Gladiators quarterback, threw a touchdown pass with 13 seconds to go. Home team goes down. They are 0-1. Next up, they'll be in Frisco on Friday. Friday's also opening day out at Isotopes Park for the Isotopes. They play the El Paso Chihuahuas. You'll hear that here on the Sports Animal. Josh Sushan will have the call. And you went out today for lunch? You were invited, by the way. So Chef's unveiling their new stadium items. There's always new food, and it's noon today.
Wow,
You going out? Yeah.
Very tasty.
I am interested in this new ice cream based dessert.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I was on par or on target with the thoughts yesterday. Yeah, there'll be some sort of meat concoction and all the ballpark food Chef puts together. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're invited. Just
Nice.
You can be my and one.
I think I'll take you up on that.
I think you get your own invite, actually. All right, 5 o'clock, 246-06. I don't know what I said 5 o'clock for. 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. All right, so there's the Shohei thing. And then there's this. Do you know who, if I'd have said to you before this morning, did you know who Jonte Parker was?
Porter.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Jonte Porter. He's aside from Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, did you know who he was?
Because he is Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, I did know who that was.
He plays for the Raptors. He's a forward. He's on a back and forth contract with the CBA. The G League. I don't know where I am today. I kind of know where I am today, actually. I'm where you are, actually. With the G League. Okay. There's a big investigation now, betting irregularities over the last several months around Jonte Porter. And you're like, Jonte Porter? Like, what? So there were a couple of games, one in January and one last week, where a irregular amount of prop bets came in on unders on Jonte Porter. Games from January 26th and March 20th. You're like, Jonte Porter? What are you talking about? All right, Porter props for those nights were set at 5.5 points and 4.5 rebounds and 1.5 assists. This was for January 26th against the Clippers. There was an over-under for Jonte Porter at 1/2. And there was an inordinate amount of betting that came in on a guy that really nobody, I mean, who is this guy? It's not a brand name. Why are all these prop bets coming in on John? And they're all under. And then after playing 4 minutes, Jonte Porter leaves the game because of what the Raptors said was an aggravation of an eye injury that he had suffered a few days earlier against Memphis. He didn't score against the Clippers. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, didn't attempt a 3, hit the under on all the prop bets where all the money came in. So the next day, as part of this daily report to users on betting results, DraftKings stated that the under on Porter's 3-pointers was the biggest money winner for bettors of any NBA player props for that evening. Okay. Well, something's got to be the biggest, I guess. So, all right, that's interesting. He played 19 minutes 2 days later, scored 12 points. So last week, what's today, March 26th? So last Thursday, I think it was, or Wednesday, the 20th. Against Sacramento, Porter played just 3 minutes before he left with what was said to be flu-like symptoms and illness. He didn't return. Sportsbooks had his over set at 7.5 points, 5.5 rebounds. And the next day, DraftKings reported that Porter's prop bets were the number one moneymaker from that night. And now you're going, well, all right, wait a minute. And there was another U.S. sportsbook that detected unusual betting on Jonte Porter. Sportsbook industry source told ESPN that there were multiple betting amounts, like upwards of $10,000 and $20,000 on Jonte Porter unders. And you're like, what are we doing? People were doing, this is quote the source, people were doing whatever they could to bet Jonte Porter props. Then just a few days ago, same thing. We had a bunch of people trying to bet the under for more. Obviously, we got an issue. And again, this could be a coincidence, but this is a hell of a coincidence, boys.
Yes, especially when you're looking at the size of the player prop bets that they're looking at, $10,000 to $20,000. Someone was trying to bet on it, and so the system is working. And I know a lot of people are making comments now, going, "Well, this is what you get. All these leagues pump betting, pump these lines. This is what you get." No, what you get is money from it, and you can't do it. It's pretty simple. And if you get caught, you're never going to get to play that game.
Well, I mean, especially if you're Jonte Porter, right? I mean, probably if you're anybody. But if you're a guy who's on a 2-way contract.
Like, is it really that hard for people to wrap their head around that? Yes, all these leagues are getting money from gambling. And if you're in those leagues, you can't gamble.
Yeah, for some reason, it is really hard for people to understand it. I heard this, and I heard this is good for the NBA. And my initial thought was it's horrible for the NBA, but the point that was being made is this is good for the NBA because A, it happened to a guy who's not a marquee guy, allegedly. And B, if it happens and if it's true, they can ban him for life from the NBA. and say, this will be you, do not do it. But if you're still foggy about it, here's basically what the allegation is. The allegation is you're letting someone know, hey, man, I'm not going to play the whole game. Go bet my unders. I'll make sure we hit the unders. You have influence over your numbers. And this is the scary part, right? Dudes, when you're betting prop bets, dudes have influence over what they do. Right? It's like those Super Bowl bets. How will the national anthem be over or under? Well, whoever's singing the national anthem wants to bet the over and make sure it goes the over, they can hit it, right? That's why those things always scare me. But if Jonte Porter tells DC, hey, go drop 20 grand on my under on points, man. I'm only gonna play a few minutes. My eye hurts. And you're like, damn, really? And you go out and you tell a friend, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on and so on. All of a sudden, this money comes in, and you can't have that. That's the integrity of the game, right? That's what we're talking about. Well, Jeffy, did he throw the game? I don't know. Where does it end? Where does it start? You can't have it. The thing that will keep that industry alive and keep you going back to it is the assumption that it is clean, that it is not predetermined. And any assumption or allegation or perception that it is predetermined, that it is rigged, that it is scripted, that it is controlled will bring the whole damn thing down. Is that a fair? I mean, for someone who's going, I don't get. Is that a fair explanation?
Yes, it is.
It's basically insider trading.
Right. Which, by the way, is illegal.
Correct.
You go to jail for that, right?
Sometimes for a long time.
Yeah, sometimes for a long time, yeah, depending on your involvement. Dude's making $415,000, and the obviously the assumption is, hey, give me a piece of it, right? Right? You made 20 grand, chip me 5, right? Something along those lines. So they'll look into it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he did it, but I'm going to tell you it sure looks bad. Is that fair?
Yes.
What do you get out of this?
That either he or someone he knows had exactly that insider information on let's hit the unders because I'm going to get sick and or say my eye hurts. And we can cash it.
And this is where maybe, I don't know, are prop bets dangerous? Betting on a dude's points every night? It's dangerous, right? You find out a guy's got a bad ankle or it's just too easy for a dude to bet unders and roll his ankle. Or hurt his knee or pop a hammy. Or not feel good. It's dangerous, man. But that's where it is. All right, 505-246-0610. You're starting to come in on the Jamal Mashburn stuff, and I'll get you some of that. You're in on the text line, 505-246-0610. You're also in on the email machine, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. You can watch the show like you can every day over on ProView Networks. It's on their YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, Comcast Channel 26 statewide, and you can watch the show as well. When we come back, I'll get you what you're having to say about Jamal Mashburn in the portal. Everything from oh no to good riddance. Literally. I mean, we're running the gamut already right here on the Sports Animal. I don't wear glasses or contacts normally. I wear reading glasses because it's just natural. But I used to wear glasses. I wore them. I kind of remember all the way back in high school when I started wearing glasses to drive at night. And it progressed. And then when I was anchoring the news, I remember I had to wear contact lenses just to read the prompter, which was, 8 feet in front of me, 10 feet in front of me. I stopped that 20 plus years ago. I went to Coleman Vision. I saw Dr. Stephen Coleman. He gave me just a life-changing experience. I got LASIK and it changed my life. I still, all these years later, I haven't worn glasses or contacts. I was tired of it. I was getting up way too early in the morning, didn't want to deal with it. The wind, when I would play golf, all that stuff. I just didn't want to deal with it. If you're thinking about getting rid of lenses, contacts, glasses, and think you're a candidate, I suggest you go see Stephen Coleman. Go to Coleman Vision because they're the best. Dr. Coleman is in on the cutting edge technology. He's helped develop it. It's Sandia Labs, but he was in on this. It's used around the world now, and patients come from everywhere to Coleman Vision to get their LASIK done because he's the best. It's a quick procedure. He'll let you watch it being done on somebody else just to give you a little bit of comfort. And then you do it and you open your eyes and you can see. It changed my life. I think it can change yours. If you're thinking about LASIK, there's one place to go, and it's Coleman Vision. Go online, look at them. It's all there at ColemanVision.com. ColemanVision.com. And then call and book an appointment and go see Dr. Coleman. 505-821-8880. That's 505-821-8880.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I tell you, that jersey hoodie,
yeah,
I think I'll be there on Saturday for that.
Saturday?
That is nice. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if we'll let you know if we're using our tickets Saturday. That's big powerlifting meet Saturday, early in the morning. We're going to go out Friday for sure, opening night. Addie and I have missed so many opening nights because they're always, JJ, that weekend I'm out at bowl meetings, right? They're always like mid-April. And so I've been gone like the last Lord knows how many opening nights. Like, Dad, and now she's going to college. And kind of our last opening day. And I mean, my kid's grown up at that ballpark, literally.
That is awesome.
Like she went to her first game. She was 9 days old. And literally gone through the stages of that ballpark in the same, well, not even kind of in the same seats. I mean, they're the same seats for all that time. So yeah, opening day. I'm fired up for Friday, and I think it should be nice enough. We get a little round of golfing in the afternoon. Work in the morning. Got to get work done. Golf, and then go to the ballpark. I mean, that's a good day, right?
That's a fantastic day. You got me thinking. I actually used to take my daughter out to Kaufman, and we had the same seats for a long time. I don't think she was like in the first, single digit days to see a ball game, but it would have been before 1. And growing up in a ballpark is special, man.
And I got
That's
a guy,
awesome.
man. I got a guy that we don't use them all. So you and DC though. One of the coolest. I told JJ this. Back, I want to guess it was. We went through the stages, right? It was Dad, right? When am I going to eat? When do I get Dippin' Dots or whatever? Then it was go out to the right field thing, and then there was time. I want to say right around 9 or 10 years old, and I remember picking her up one Tuesday or Wednesday night, and I said, what do you want to do for dinner? And she kind of said, Dad, are the Isotopes home? I said, they are. She says, can we go out there for a few innings? And it's like, yes, we can. And that's when we went out and just, started to explain baseball to her, and she started to appreciate the game a little bit. The stages were really cool. Yeah.
Our first stage was the ice cream stage.
Yeah.
I probably have 200 mini helmets with.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah.
The other one is the ushers who watched her grow up. So literally we'll go there on Friday. Oh my goodness, you got so big, right? The annual, you've got so big. What happened to her? How'd this happen? Oh, that one. Because it's, like Barbara and Hallie and the same, ushers who got, and they're wonderful. They you give them a big hug and they watch her grow up and me get old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny too. The ushers, they generally don't have a lot of attrition. They stay for a while, and it is kind of cool when you get to know them, and it's part of the whole experience.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. The news that came out yesterday, Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Sebastian Forsling in the transfer portal for Lobo men's basketball. You're reacting a little bit. And I've said this earlier, and I'll say it again. Mashburn's everything you want in a Lobo. And I understand why this is happening, and maybe it is time, and maybe it's best for everybody. But I do think you'll miss Mash. I just do. And I'll miss him as JJ is a go-to guy for just a voice of reason from the locker room, right? And during the season, it's hard for us. And Lobo basketball is protected way more than football. Football, we would get players every Thursday, right? I like talking to players a lot. Lobo basketball just didn't allow us to have players as much this year. But he's one of my favorites, and I think you'll miss him. Text line says, if you're a big school coach, who wouldn't want Mash as a 6-man off the bench, instant offense? It's from Steve. Yeah, I think he can go in and start somewhere. I'm just telling you, I think he's going to shoot well next year. I think he was hurt, and I think he's going to be fine. This one says Sebastian is the ultimate team player. Okay. This one is from Dan. It's on the email, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. It says, good riddance. Jeffrey, Juan Jose, and Dennis Choi. That's what Lobo fans were telling me yesterday. Good riddance. Hash played no D. By the way, I said Hash to make it funny. And was undersized, but they overlooked it the first 2 years when he was scoring. But this season, the scoring wasn't consistently there, and the shortcomings were harder to ignore. Okay. All right. You said good riddance. All right. Okay. Mike says, we're the hot takers, Jeff Alou. We're Dan, Mud, and the rest who were screaming on Friday Lobo basketball to the Sweet 16. Mud called yesterday, didn't he? He came in and took it. I'm pretty sure he did. This one's from Maurice, JJ. He says, Dickie P versus Ricky P. Jeff, was Rick Pitino sitting there watching that mess Friday thinking, this is the garbage team that kept me out of the state tournament? Probably not. This one's from HB. Is 3 the new 4? Where have you gone, Royce Only? Lobo fans turn their lonely eyes to you. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Jeff, I've told the story on the OD before. I remember watching a game at Bears Place when Royce nailed a bomb, ran down the Haskins field, shushing the Miners at Utah. There was a Lobo fan next to me who gleefully reminded UTEP folks to get used to it that he was a freshman. He'd be doing that to the minors for 3 more seasons. To me, that's what college sports is all about. Guys put on uniforms, pimply-faced boys. You follow their development until they run down the ramp for the last time as senior night as men. Now it's all about catching lightning in a bottle with a bunch of mercenaries that combined high school and college. I've already been at like 45 different programs. Players around 3 years. Is that the same thing as 4 or 5 years used to be? Yeah, kind of is. I mean, JJ, 3 years.
3 is the new 4.
Like you hope you get Donovan Dent for 3, don't you? And JT Toppin for 3?
Yeah. It's even, and I think the windows are even more like 2-year spurts.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Rosters.
Yeah. I mean, to HB's point, look, those were great days. I think everybody, I don't know, maybe that's not right. Coaches, I've heard say, nobody likes it. I've heard coaches say, I think Richard said it. Nobody likes it. It's the way it is. I don't know. I think the players seem to like it. If you're in a position that doesn't work for you, you probably like being able to go somewhere. If your team isn't good, you're not saddled with guys for 4 years. You can turn it around quicker, right?
There's a chance for that. You're also guaranteed to lose your best player, but your best player could have left anyway in the past. There's differences. They just don't have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
I think it's what is really frustrating is the second-time transfer that doesn't involve graduating.
I think that's right.
And no one kind of knows what's going on.
Feels like
so
it's
it feels like it is unlimited transfer.
Does Sebastian Forsling find a spot?
Yeah,
he does. Like what give me a UC Irvine kind of a place or a. So you think
I don't think
Big
he's
West?
going up.
Give me the stat again. Football, I know this happened. 30% of players in the portal transferred down, whether it was Power 5 to Group of 5 or Group of 5 to FBS. 30% who entered the portal did not find a place. It's a gamble. Jamal Mashburn will find a place. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck in D.C. Glad you're with us on a Tuesday morning. The draft is getting closer, and the NFL owners have approved a massive revamp to the kickoff. That happened this morning. What's that going to look like? It's next, and it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. all your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Show that shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, show that you.
Sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running.
It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Well, changes are coming, not just to your college basketball team. We had the conversation this morning. We'll continue to entertain it. Jamal Mashburn, Sebastian Forsling in the transfer portal for Lobo men's basketball. And you can continue to get in on that. I'm interested as your thoughts continue to come in. NFL's making some changes. JJ, yesterday we learned about the hip drop tackle would be outlawed, which I think is going to really impact the game. I just, again, how you're supposed to track a guy down from behind and tackle him, I don't know, but we'll see. Teams will receive a third challenge. It used to be that if you were successful on your first two, you're out. Well, a third challenge. If you have a successful challenge, you get a third, which doesn't penalize teams, which I guess is good. And if there's a double foul during a down in which there is a change or changes of possession, including if one of the fouls is a post-possession foul by a team during scrimmage or the kick, the team last gaining possession will keep the ball. If that makes any sense to you. And then there's this. This one's big. The NFL this morning approved a massive revamp of the kickoff. This is kind of the XFL format. I don't even think it's kind of. I think it is the XFL format, right? Are you guys familiar with the XFL format? Did you watch it? Did you? Because I'm not going to pretend I watched a lot of XFL.
It is a complete 180 from what you're used to.
Yeah, I'm reading about it now because I didn't watch much XFL. I knew they did it differently, but I didn't remember exactly what the structure was. But yeah, this is very different.
All right, so it's designed basically to reverse more than a decade of declining return rates, and then obviously lower concussion rates. So kickers will continue to kick from the 35-yard line. But the other 10 players on the kickoff team will line up at the receiving team's 40-yard line. Okay? At least 9 members of the return team will line up in what's called a setup zone between the 35 and the 30. Up to 2 runners can line up in the landing zone between the goal line and the 20. So no one other than the kicker and the returner can move until the ball hits the ground or it hits a player inside the landing zone. Touchbacks come out to the 30. So they want returns. Basically, they want you to kick it into that little zone in there, and that receiving zone. Touchbacks come out to the 30. There'll be no fair catches allowed. And if a team wants to attempt an onside kick, and this is where, what about the onside kick? Then they have to inform the officials about their intent, and they would then be allowed to use the traditional formation. No surprise onside kicks will be allowed, which I mean, I think back to the Super Bowl. I think back to the Hank Baskett play in the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Indianapolis, where the ball went off of Hank Baskett's head. I think of some plays like that. There have been plays that have swung games. This is going to be a major change, boys and girls. I don't know your thoughts initially.
I don't think it's going to create a lot of explosive plays, but you're adding a play where someone catches it, is going to run, tackle. Let's go.
I'm interested to see how it plays out because the kickoff has been mostly boring over the last few years. So if this does improve, like JJ said, creating a play that I'm interested. I'm definitely interested.
Okay. I guess I don't like taking the onside kick out, but it's there. And how often did you see it? So I got to get over that. The reason for the change is pretty obvious, right? They're looking to reduce concussions on kickoff. The NFL over the past 15 seasons has gone through a number of rule changes designed to reduce returns and move the kickoff from the 30 to the 35. It outlawed wedge and double team blocks. It created a rule that allowed a fair catch so you could spot at the 25-yard line, and touchback rates dramatically increased over that period. The return rate there, did you know only 21.7% of kickoffs were returned? If I'd asked you what percentage did you think? Where would you?
I might have even gone lower than that.
Would you have gone lower than that?
I mean, it feels like less than 1 in 10, but hearing that it's 20% actually,
it's 2 in 10 basically.
How many times you've watched a football game,
and
you're just like, why'd you return that?
Yeah,
take it at the 25. What are you doing?
Yeah, dude 7 yards deep and he's coming out. Evidently, the number of concussions have dropped, but only in parallel with the decrease in returns. So the rate of concussions per kickoff, according to league officials, has remained relatively constant. And so this is it. I mean, the kickoffs are just going to look different. They're going to look like the XFL. So that went down today, literally this morning, came out about a half hour ago. The hip drop tackles out. Defensive players are losing their freaking minds over this, right? Over the hip drop thing. And I'm not sure I'd blame them. They're like, how do you want me to play football at this point? And we'll see. We'll see how they're supposed to do this, but you all right? We'll see. A couple other NFL things. When's the draft? 2 weeks? What's the date of the draft?
It's in about a month.
Is it a month? I thought it was.
End of April.
We're not April yet. I keep thinking we're in April. The Giants have given their front office, the ownership has given their front office the green light to go draft a quarterback if they want. They have number 6 pick. They gave Daniel Jones a $160 million deal. That was last year. They have the 6th pick in the draft. There's a lot of quarterbacks. This is a quote from John Mara, their owner. If they, and they meaning the front office, if they fall in love with a quarterback and they believe it's worth number 6 or moving up, I certainly would support that. Who's going to be at 6 to justify what the Giants need? I mean, it's not like the Giants are a quarterback away. The Giants need it now. The more I hear, J.J. McCarthy's going in the top 5 or 6, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
He's the 3rd quarterback, maybe even higher.
Number 3, I can see that now with everything trending, but I'm all about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
I think those are the top 2 quarterbacks.
You don't like Drake May, huh?
He would be number 3 to me.
Okay.
And then if you want to have a debate about Drake May versus J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. McCarthy is different because he is just turned 21 years old. So people are looking at that and saying, hey, there is actually a developmental thing here with J.J. McCarthy. But then you look at these guys and teams give you a year and a half. And if they don't like you, they're on to the next one.
Well,
what are you developing?
And that's where I'm wondering. First of all, if J.J. McCarthy gets picked, he owes Jim Harbaugh a share because Jim Harbaugh is doing everything he can to get this guy drafted high. And he played for Jim Harbaugh in college. I'm not sure. And again, I haven't studied it like Kurt Warner has or any of these guys. My eyes told me, just watch it. I liked Michael Penix and Bo Nix at least as much as I like J.J. McCarthy. Now, I haven't sat down with J.J. McCarthy. Evidently, he's really impressive. So is Bo Nix and Michael Penix from everything I hear. You like him way better than those guys? You like him way better enough to go draft him at 6?
That's the buzz around the league. of the upside of JJ McCarthy. But at this point, I don't care how old a quarterback is. Can he play? Because teams don't develop quarterback. The NFL has a quarterback problem. It's a hard position to play. But if you're not winning games by the end of year 2, they're done with you.
And they'll develop.
So I'm like, I don't care if he's 21 years old or if he's 27 years old. Can he come in and help me win football games? Because teams are not going to give you 4 or 5 years to develop. Quarterback development in the NFL is broken.
And they'll develop every other position, right? They'll let a receiver develop. They'll let a left guard develop. They'll let a pass rusher develop. No, you're right.
It's the one thing they look at and go, oh man, we can't sit here and struggle for 4 years, 3 years. You either have it by year 2 or you're out.
Daniel Jones going to be the starting quarterback week 4 for the Giants?
Yes.
You're not as convinced, are you?
When the owner comes out and gives his blessing to draft quarterback and do what you need to do to get your guy, you got to wonder.
I mean, they basically gave you the green light. Go ahead and or does the owner say, here's the rope, go hang yourself?
And it might be that too.
Because 6, it feels at this point, because New England is saying, hey, you want one of those quarterbacks, come get 3.
They are,
yeah.
Which is crazy to me, by the way. Because what are they going to do?
Rebuild the entire team.
Who's their they got rid of Mac? Who'd they get? They signed Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah.
So they're going to roll with Jacoby Brissett and figure out what's there whenever they get there?
Yes.
I mean,
because I think they're just looking and they say
Bailey Zappi and Nathan Rourke.
A roster that Drake May, JJ McCarthy stepping into,
which
you're
is
going to get the same results they got with
built for failure. Yeah, it's built to fail. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. There's a quarterback competition for the Raiders as well. Want to get into that and what their new head coach had to say about the incumbent. Kenny Thomas is going to be here at 9 o'clock. We'll kick it with Kenny and talk some hoops with him as well. The number to get in is 505-246-0610 on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
What's going on, Lobo?
On that roster that's not there now, right? We all
Yes, there
firmly
has
believe
to.
that? Right now it's Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and somebody named Anthony Brown.
It doesn't have to be because I totally just blanked on Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders.
You think Gardner Minshew will win that job? So
Yes.
you don't think they go and draft somebody, a Bo Nix late? Because, man, there could be 6 guys in the first round, probably.
Late, yeah, that means trying to get back into the first round.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the Raiders, I guess you could fall in love with Bo Nix or Michael Penix. That's not what I want to use my 13th overall pick on. Is one of those guys.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I think a lot of these teams are going to have to look at their rosters and just go, damn, dude. At some point, we got to get better everywhere else.
Especially with the push that we're going to see. The Vikings are going to try to get to 3.
Do you think the Vikings are the one that goes up to 3?
Because they have 11 and 23. That's why they made the move to acquire the 23rd overall pick in the first round. They're going to go try to get Drake May or J.J. McCarthy. And so it feels like 4 quarterbacks in the top 4 or 5. But if I'm Arizona and Los Angeles Chargers, especially the Chargers can't miss out on Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. They have to get one of those guys.
Where are the Chargers
They're
going?
at 5.
they're 5'11" and 20 something. No, the Chargers aren't 5. Oh, they are 5.
Yeah, the Chargers have the 5th overall pick. And so that's the one where if you're the New York Giants, do the Cardinals drop out? Because if I'm the Chargers, you have to get Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. You don't have a wide receiver.
It's crazy. Every mock I'm looking at right now does not have them taking one of those guys at number 5. It just doesn't.
Which is wild.
It has Marvin Harrison Jr. going at 4 to the Cardinals. And I don't know if the Cardinals back out of that. Look, the Cardinals, who's the Cardinals' most recognizable player of the last 2 decades?
Larry Fitzgerald.
It is. And this guy kind of fits that mold a little bit, doesn't he?
You hear Marvin Harrison, and you think a senior. This dude's 6'4".
Right.
Different type of receiver.
And do you remember when Larry Fitzgerald came out of Pitt? He was all that. He was kind of this guy right here. I mean, this feels that mold to me, and I don't know that I think the Cardinals are going to jump out of that. So if you want Marvin Harrison Jr., you may have to jump above the Cardinals to get him.
I don't think there's a team that's going to trade that much capital to get a wide receiver.
I agree with
that. If you're going to 3, you're getting a quarterback.
So then what's there for the Chargers at 5? Do they
Malik
trade
Neighbors.
or do they trade it to the Vikings to get J.J. McCarthy? If the Vikings want J.J. McCarthy that bad. If it goes Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May,
yeah.
or do the Vikings jump up to 3? They trade with New England and they get who they want there.
Because if 3 and 5, 3 is definitely in play. The Patriots are telling the world.
Yeah.
Jerome Mayo is telling the world, like, we're listening to offers. Come get it. Because at 5 could be interesting for McCarthy or May.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so if you're the Chargers...
Who's ever not taken 3rd?
Yeah. If you're the Chargers, it depends. You cannot leave that first round without a wide receiver. So if Rome Odunze from Washington and a 3rd-ranked receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., the other LSU wide receiver, is climbing the draft boards. Like, they have to get someone in there for Justin.
Because they've lost Mike Williams, they've lost
Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Mike Williams left in free agency.
Yep. No, they've lost their 2 best receivers. And you've got Harbaugh going in there, and this is, I think it's a pretty big year for Justin Herbert. I know you think he's got like 5 more years to develop, but I'm kidding, kind of. But it's a big year for him, don't you think? Now he's got the coach. Now he's.
But he also has to have someone to throw to.
He's had. Now he doesn't. So now you're right.
And that's
what I'm saying. You got to arm him.
Yeah, he had a coach we all laughed at, but then we're gonna be like, well, Justin Herbert, you got to overcome all that, and now he has no wide receivers on the roster, and it's like, well, you know what? Fine. If Justin Herbert struggles this year, trade your next 2 first-round picks to go get him, because he will be the Matthew Stafford for you.
I'm actually going to defend you on this one. I actually, because I give you a hard time, but I actually believe you. I agree with you. I want you to look at the quarterbacks you've considered great over however many, right? Tom Brady, Mahomes. Who else? Who else has been great? Peyton Manning, right? They've all had they've had good coaches, right? Mm-hmm. Justin Herbert, and we have this conversation all the time. Who made who? Did Belichick make Brady? Did Brady make Belichick? They made each other. I mean, and I know nobody wants that answer. No, it's got to be one or the other. Nobody likes that answer. Well, look what Belichick did after. Oh, okay, all right, that's fair, but it's not. Okay, because the whole team was different. But okay, and then there's Justin Herbert, who got saddled with Brandon Staley. What if Justin Herbert would have ended up with the Chiefs?
I think they've been pretty good. Maybe not dynastic, but
he'd have been pretty damn good, right? He'd have won a hell of a lot more than he did. Now, what if he'd have ended up with the Rams? With Sean McVay instead of across the hall with the Chargers. So I'm defending you on this one, on your Justin Herbert thing. But that's why I'm saying this is a year to prove that. Because when we go through, I mean, go all the way back, man. Go to Lombardi and Starr. Right, go all the way back. You go to Elway and Dan Reeves. right? I mean, go back to the great quarterbacks, Montana and Walsh, Young and Walsh. Go back through the guys who were dynastic or really, really good or had sustained postseason success in this league. There has been some consistency. Not always. You're going to find me an outlier and you're going to be right. Not always. But the trend is, and this is a league of trends, that the quarterbacks who win in the postseason at a high clip, and there haven't been many of them. You know, Roethlisberger was with the same coach for the whole time, right? I mean, there's something there that it works with that coach. Now he didn't have it. Now you're telling me Harbaugh's in, and Harbaugh's that guy, and Harbaugh's the difference. Okay, and I'm leaning towards believing that that's what makes this year so big. And I agree with you that now you got to arm this guy. Now you got to go get him. He just lost his two best weapons, and hell, Austin Eckler's gone too. I mean, really your three best. You got to go arm this guy to go make, because I don't think you have a gap year here. Say, well, yeah, but it was the first year of Harbaugh, and they got young receivers. I think you're out of those years.
That's why you're at 5. It would be hard if I'm the Chargers to trade down too much.
Because you like Malik Neighbors that much?
Yeah, Malik Neighbors.
You like him better than Odunze?
Yeah, Neighbors is. I think the top of the first round wide receiver class is very good. But
I'm seeing
Neighbors
Rome Odunze to the Jets. So if they get Odunze and Garrett Wilson, and didn't they just trade for someone? Didn't they get Keenan Allen or something?
I got Mike Williams.
They got. I mean, that. Holy smokes!
Caleb Williams is throwing a Keenan Allen next year in Chicago.
Okay. I mean, and DJ Moore for that matter. Yeah, Caleb
Chicago.
Williams.
It's like, hey, wait a second. When you have one of these young quarterbacks,
Who's better,
maybe we
DJ
should put
Moore,
some weapons around him.
Who's better, DJ Moore, Caleb, or Keenan Allen right now? I kind of think DJ Moore's probably in his prime right now. Yeah. Keenan Allen might be on the backside, but I got two high number 2 receivers.
Wonderful spot for Caleb Williams because you got
Cole Kmet,
the bet, and Keenan Allen.
Yeah. Cole
Kmet, solid.
DJ Moore,
pass catching tight end. DJ Moore with explosive upside. Chicago gets it now that they're able to, the trade they made last year to land the number 1 overall pick from Carolina. This year they get a redo, which is insane.
Well, Justin Fields going, what the hell are you doing? like who was I throwing to?
1 year DJ Moore.
Darnell Mooney, that was his number 1 receiver.
Darnell Mooney, sneaky this year.
Where'd he end up?
Wide receiver 2 in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins comes back.
All right.
You're looking for a wide receiver 3 for your fantasy football team.
I like Darnell Mooney. He wasn't a number 1, and they tried to make him a number 1 in Chicago, and Justin Fields didn't have. I mean, Justin Fields got to be sitting there just going, really?
But Justin Fields had to rush for 1,000 yards.
Run like there was someone chasing the whole time because, well, there was someone chasing him the whole damn time. No, look, to your point, they get it now. They get it now. And they signed DeAndre Swift, who's a good pass catcher out of the backfield. Right?
There's another thing for Justin Fields. Who left in free agency last year?
David Montgomery.
Yes. Yep. And how did he look in a nice running back?
He looked great. No, he looked great in Detroit last year. He was terrific. I think he led the league in rushing.
Now the Bears like, let's get a good veteran running back. Oh, great wide receiver 2, Keenan Allen with explosive and DJ Moore. This is gonna be great for Caleb.
You're telling me the Bears are nice. Like the Bears.
And then you come back at 9, take the best offensive lineman on the board. Here you go. You're building something.
All right, 505-246-0610. Kenny's going to be with us. We'll kick it with Kenny Thomas. Coming up at 9 o'clock, talk some NBA stuff. I want his thoughts on the gambling thing with Jonte Porter. And if you didn't hear that, there's an investigation into Jonte Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother who plays for the Raptors. There were an inordinate amount of bets coming in, prop bets on Jonte Porter's unders. 2 particular games, and 2 games in which he left early, eye injury and the flu. And a lot of money was won, and the house took their biggest losses on Jonte Porter prop bets those 2 games. Jonte Porter. How easy would that be to do? I'm interested. Kenny spent 11 years in the NBA. Interested to hear his thoughts. That's coming up at 9 o'clock on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by Malloy
Nation, Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
A lot of chalk in the Sweet 16. It'll get back underway on Thursday. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. We'll talk hoops with Kenny Thomas coming up at 9 o'clock as we kick it with Kenny, the former Lobo great. Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Sebastian Forsling in the transfer portal. How feels you, Lobo fan? 505-246-0610. Text line says one or two fans, and fans was in quote, spread negativity and they're idiots. We will definitely miss Mash and Forsling greatly. It's from Doug's Tool, whatever that means. I believe that's right. Yeah, I think you'll miss him. I think that, look, you go on, and this is the way the world is, and this is transfer portal, and this is college athletics of today, and blah, blah, blah. You had 3 years of that, dude. You had 3 years of Mash and House, and I thought it was 3 years that was really special.
It's very impactful 3 years, and the way you framed it is absolutely right. These players are very polarizing for everyone, and it's more than just the select few. It's prominent social media voices, because guess what? That's a thing. And they know who the fans that are loud and speaking out and are always on social media are in the fan base, because everyone's on social media. But what Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. did was put the Lobos back on the map. They were the foundation that Richard Pitino, the staff, and the rest of that roster built off of. And, well, I think as time passes a little bit, frustration in NCAA tournament, we remember Las Vegas, how awesome that run was, what the last 2 years have been like to raise expectations to where it hurts so much at the end of the season. And while I think it would be hard for people to realize, because when you think of Lobo greats, right, it's NCAA tournament wins, it's getting the second round. But House and Mashburn will hold a really big place in Lobo basketball to bring it back on the map in a very pivotal time, too, in college athletics.
I had a couple things on that. So I told you that, I talked to both those guys. I told you I would do this. And I if I suggest something, I'm going to suggest something I don't do. I did shake both of their hands, look them in the eye, in the locker room in Vegas, and said, hey, I know you've been through a lot of, you're taking a lot of, whatever. But I personally, I preface it, I'm not a fan. I'm not a Lobo. I didn't go to UNM. But I'm obviously invested in the program because we cover it and we talk about it all the time. I shook their hands and said, thank you for bringing Lobo basketball back. And I'm going to tell you, JJ, and I haven't really shared this with you, the response from both of those two young men and watching their demeanor change when I had that conversation, and I know it meant something to them. And I know that they heard all the noise, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
You could see, I mean, I'm nobody, right? But you could see that they heard all the noise. I'm going to tell you, and I know the audience changes over, but I said this earlier, and I will say this again. And I'm sure I'll say it after this. I'm not telling you that Jamal Mashburn and or Jalen House were the best Lobos of all time. Okay, so when you have the conversation, who's the best Lobo, and you want to tell me Mel Daniels or Danny Granger or Kenny Thompson, whatever. Okay. Those two will probably forever be joined at the hip in Lobo lore, right? It'll be House and Mash, Mash and House, whatever. And I will tell you, Jamal Mashburn put together one of the best seasons last year, 2 seasons ago now. But I will tell you that they are, and Jamal Mashburn and Jalen House are as impactful as any Lobo has ever been. And I'm trying to think back to more. You give me, and impactful to me means impact. Had an insane impact on the program. What does that mean? Danny Granger had a really big impact on the program when he got here. He did. He turned things around, got him to the NCAA tournament. He had a nice NBA career. He was impactful. Kenny Thomas was insanely impactful. Luke Longley was very impactful, right? These guys both came here when this program was, JJ, I mean, you don't get much more down. And during COVID and with all the uncertainty, and they came here and turned it around, got you back to the NCAA tournament. Did they do it all by themselves this year? I'm not even going to tell you. Maybe if you want to tell me that Toppin and Dent were their best players this year, I'll even listen to you. But I don't know that Toppin and Dent are here without those guys. Certainly, probably not Toppin. And I don't know that that foundation is laying before those guys get here without Mashburn and House. So when it comes down to it, and you can put it in your own terms. I don't care if it's value, impactful, important, whatever. But if this current trajectory sustains, if you continue on this upward motion and you maintain A, relevancy, and B, start making regular championship runs and or tournament runs, you're going to look back at those two young men and hopefully remember them more fondly than you do in the moment. And I'm listening to you. If I'm wrong, I'm listening. But give me if you don't think they're the most impactful ever, I'm cool with that. But there's not many more that were more impactful in the history of Lobo basketball than those two guys.
Yeah, it's all moments of time. In this particular moment of time, coming from after you look at what happened, 2014, and then the Craig Neal tenure into Paul Weir, like there wasn't expectations, there wasn't a lot of hope, there's a lot of frustration for Lobo basketball, and what Richard Pitino was able to do is land these two guys that were the foundation of building all that back up. And in this, however long this lasts, those guys are the core of it, of bringing it back, of bringing the pit back to life, of getting the fans riled up. What we saw happen this year was awesome. Games mattering, and we know basketball hits different, but when it's hitting different and the pit is filled up, you're talking about it throughout the regular season. The Vegas was a phenomenal atmosphere, just the vibe ahead of that NCAA tournament game. It all started because these two guys committed to the University of New Mexico. Yeah. And then there's all the other factors that go into it. NIL money for bringing other players in, this or that. But when guys were looking at UNM, they go, oh, House and Mashburn to give us a chance to compete. And you add to that group, and here we go. And you tip your cap, and I'm right there. You tip your cap, say thank you, and then you hope for better now. You say, look at what we had, now let's get better.
Let me give you one more prong to this. The credibility that they brought. When you bring in the son of a former player, and look, remember when Texas Southern was here this year, and Shaq's son was in, right? JJ, I think it almost gives your program and your coach even more credibility to have Jamal Mashburn's son transfer blindly with Richard Pitino, and then to bring in Eddie House's son. Now they're their own men, okay? And I've never ever really, I know Kenny mixes up Jalen sometimes because he played with Eddie, and announcers do too, right? They're both their own men. They're both their own players, but they grew up in basketball-rich environments, and I think to have guys like that transfer from Power 5 schools or Power 6 schools from Minnesota and Arizona State to your school. And these are highly educated basketball families, right? Highly successful dads saying, I'm going to trust my son to go down there and play in that program. I think that also gave you instant credibility. And I think they played out, JJ. They both paid off in dividends.
Absolutely. And the way that they played and the players that came in raised expectations to where you do see two really good basketball players in Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. And they're like, well, now we got to keep it better.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. When we come back, you heard a lot about the non-conference schedule this year, the strength of schedule. How do you get it better? What they're doing for next year, some early signs on next year's schedule. And we'll get to the phones at 505-246-0610. I know you see IPS vehicles everywhere, International Protective Service. Who are they and what do they do? It's affordable private security. I've trusted to watch my home for years. You see them at retail stores. You see them in neighborhoods. IPS is everywhere because they're making a difference, and they can help you too. IPS offers standing guards and 24-hour patrols to protect your business and your home. They respond to alarms most of the time within 7 minutes, a quick armed response when a quick armed response is needed. IPS's technology team also installs video cameras to record criminals who vandalize or steal your property. The video will help in the investigation, and the surveillance discourages criminal activity. IPS provides the manpower and the technology to protect you, your home, and your business. You've invested way too much to keep putting up with vandalism and break-ins. Call IPS and put an end to it. 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque better and safer to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the Frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been.
Conference or early season tournament that the Lobos are in for next year, but it's a short segment. I want to get these calls in. 505-246-0610. Jeffrey, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me on. You know, with the vicissitudes of the season this year, the highs and the lows of the basketball team, but particularly the Air Force loss and the utter futility of Friday's game, you know, I was really upset. And in turn, my wife, who's not from here, she's from Seattle, so she doesn't get this whole Lobo basketball phenomenon fandom thing. She got upset with me. And so I started thinking, and, you know, in all fairness, why do I care so much about Lobo basketball other than I am from here? I went to UNM and all that. I've had season tickets for 40 years. And I think part of it is because especially for folks that are natives, you know, that we hear so much about New Mexico being last in education, number 1 in crime, just not a very sophisticated state. Nobody knows we're here. All these negatives. And when the Lobos perform well on national television and we're relevant, it's so positive. It's almost like compensation for some weird cultural inferiority complex. And I know that's a bit controversial, but it comes down to just pride, cultural pride.
That's all it is.
Because there's so many things that are so negative we hear about the state. And when the Lobos do well, people care. And, the utter futility of Friday's game notwithstanding, the Lobos had a hell of a productive season. And I think Jamal Mashburn, I tip my hat to the guy. Did not shoot particularly well this year. Didn't play real good defense. But without him, we don't win the Nevada game. We don't win a number of games. We're not relevant at all. So thank you to Mashburn and the team. Again, notwithstanding Friday's utter futility. But I just wanted to say, I just think people care so much because I think it truly is about pride, because I think it compensates a little bit for all the negatives we hear nationally about our state.
Yeah. No, that's good. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you. No, it's right. And it is a matter of pride. And that's what sports is, man. We're your biggest gatherings every year in every city. Sports. Look at parades. Look at the stadiums. That's where it is. Frank, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Frank.
Hey, good morning, guys. I just want to talk about the tournaments and what's going on. This is my opinion. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this tournament's set up for the East. You know what I mean? And I always said the West should play the West, the East should play the East, and beat up Mississippi. Take, for instance, San Diego State. What do? Go home for one day, and now they're already on their way back to Boston. You know what I mean? Yeah. And did you catch the Calipari post interview after the game saying that he has 18 and 19-year-old kids playing against 25-year-old?
It's on him, man.
And then, do you think the game might turn semi-pro, with all this portal going on? And one more thing, on the ladies' side, someone's going to hit a perfect bracket there because the top teams play at home.
And they do.
And congratulations to Mike Bradbury winning the Coach of the Year. But I think this is the furthest he's going to take us.
All right, Frank. No, I appreciate you. I got to hit this break because we're at the top of the hour. Great stuff, and I want to get on a bunch of that stuff. The regional stuff is a big deal. There's just not enough teams out west to balance it, right? And there's just not. It's the opening drive. Kenny Thomas next. Kick it with Kenny on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
All right, we're going to talk a lot of hoops. It's opening drive, Jefferson Beata, JJ Buck. JJ, Lobos over the past 2 seasons have the second best non-conference record in the country. They're 25-1, Purdue's 22-0. But it was said that they would not have made the NCAA tournament in either year. They didn't win the Mountain West tournament this month because of their strength of non-conference. So UNM has signed a contract this November, played a multi-team event, the Palm Springs Invitational. It's 3 games. They'll get a home game and then 2 in Palm Springs. And whilst it hasn't been made public, John Rothstein, national sports writer on college basketball, posted on X that it's a Thanksgiving week event. It'll feature USC, Southern California, San Diego State, Arizona State, TCU, SMU, New Mexico, Washington State, St. Mary's. There'll be others in there. So of those, St. Mary's, Washington State, TCU, San Diego State were all in the NCAA tournament. It's an upgrade. I know that they got a multi-team event the following year where the teams are still being worked on as well. That'll be a Christmas week event. So they're working on it. I mean, this is the way, JJ, it's hard. You're not going to get people to come to the pit. This is one way to upgrade your non-conference schedule, and then you're relying on the teams being good.
Yeah, get into MTEs. You're going to have to take a road game where you don't get a return game to get a little bit more of a name on your schedule, and that's the way it is.
All right, it's kicking it with Kenny, the former Lobo great, 11-year NBA veteran, and now Globetrotter. Is not in the studio. He's with us. What's up, man? How you living?
Man, I'm good. How you guys doing?
Oh, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to excel, sir. Appreciate you asking. All right.
Hey, what's going on with this situation? New teams? Is this basketball or sports in general at the universities?
What are we talking about?
What you guys are just talking about. As far as New Mexico, the teams and all that?
Yeah, that's next year's holiday tournament. They'll play in Palm Springs, the Lobos will, in a tournament that evidently includes USC and San Diego State and Arizona State and TCU and SMU and Washington State and St. Mary's. So, I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, about upgrading that non-conference schedule, which is vital, Kenny. I mean, they've got to do that. And look, Dave Bliss was saying this. This is not new. I've been here 28 seasons now. Every coach that's been here has talked about how hard it is to schedule non-conference games. Nobody wants to come here. There's nothing to gain for anybody. How hard it is to put together a good non-conference schedule.
Yeah, obviously when I was in college, it's a totally different situation. It was the WAC, and the conference was pretty strong back then. You had Tarkanian, you had Majerus, yep. Utah, and then you had Air Force was even pretty good. But I feel like their non-conference schedule hurts them. I'll say it. They didn't play anybody, right? So I feel like New Mexico has to take a little bit more chances to get that recognition, especially when it comes down to the selection committee. At some point, I feel like if they had a few more games that mattered opposed to playing some of the teams that they did. I think it's a different situation. And then when you have Bliss, we used to have, like you said, I think we used to have our Thanksgiving and Christmas tournaments to where people came to us, right? So.
Yep. All right, Jamal Mashburn's in the portal. Sebastian Forsling's in the portal. I don't think it's any surprise. Kenny, I said this morning, I think you're going to miss Mash. And I said this, and I want your opinion on this. I'm not saying that Jamal Mashburn is the best player ever. I'm saying he is one of the most impactful Lobos in the history of the program, him and House. Impactful means what kind of impact did you have? And those two guys coming here at a time when the program was so down, bringing them back. I'll put him, those two guys up there in regards to impact with Danny Granger, Kenny Thomas, Luke Longley, Michael Cooper, some of the most impactful. I'm not saying best ever, although they're pretty damn good. No, but hear me. They're pretty damn good. But do you agree with me as far as they're right up there as some of the most impactful Lobos in the history of the program?
Oh, I totally agree. The way House and Mash came in and changed the whole perspective of Lobo basketball, getting people back in the seats and bringing that whole different dynamic as far as the team coming out and playing great ball, man. Like, it got to the point to where the first, not this past season, obviously, but the last season, last year, is when it all started, and Pitino was making a big impact. The fact that Mashburn came with him to UNM is huge because it was needed, and then now you have an opportunity with JT, right, to where the impact can still move forward. And obviously Dent being a sophomore, but you said that you weren't surprised that he went in the portal. Right. I'm a little surprised. I am, because he's been with Pitino his whole career. Next thing you know, he's leaving. So that gets me to think, okay, so is Pitino coming back? Well,
I don't know where Richard's going. I don't know that I've heard a lot of noise on him, although that doesn't mean that he's not going anywhere. It doesn't surprise me, just my interactions with him, watching him, listening to him, reading what he said. It didn't surprise me at all that he was in the portal. I'm not happy about it, but it didn't surprise me. He's Kenny Thomas. We're kicking it with Kenny here on the Sports Animal.
Oh, Kenny, Friday afternoon, Lobos line up against Clemson. What were you thinking watching that game? Because this team, I thought they turned a little bit of a corner against size, the way they played against Boise State, the way they played against San Diego State in Las Vegas. What did you see in that game against Clemson on Friday?
Well, I'm great question, JJ, and I'm about to be direct, and this is my opinion. Well, Clemson's not in the Mountain West Conference, right? Obviously, Clemson is an ACC team, and the way that they played and basically dominated that game, I feel like they dominated it from the inside out. They controlled every aspect of that game. UNM was getting some shots, and they just couldn't make shots. And I felt like Clemson, they came out with a great game plan because I feel like they packed the paint and they forced them to shoot outside, and they were huge.
And you look at that. I think you bring up a good point too. Clemson, as big as they were, with the potential of Nelly Jr., Joseph, and JT Toppin coming back, do you think they're big enough inside? I know all the talk has been about the guards. They're small with Mashburn and House. How do you feel about JT and Nelly, if that is again the core inside?
Well, if you recall that game, if it wasn't for Nelly scoring about 6 to 8 points in the paint, I don't even think they would have got the points that they did at the beginning of the game. I feel like they went away from that, and JT was non-existent when it came to getting the ball in the paint. Those are tough situations because it's a one and done type situation. But you want to come out and you want to be aggressive, and I feel like the backcourt was the only, outside of Nelly, the backcourt was aggressive. But come on, let's keep it real. The Lobos are not a great shooting team from the perimeter, and it showed very much.
Kenny Thomas is with us. All right, in the portal, I've said this. There were a couple of things that I thought this team needed to be better at. They got to find a sniper, right? They don't have a shooter, and you see in these tournaments, man, teams that survive, they knock down threes. It's a guard tournament in the postseason, and then a 6'4" to 6'7" swing guy that can get to the hoop, that can guard the perimeter, a Clayton Shields type of a guy, right? That you see throughout the tournament. There's these slashers, that athlete. To me, those are two things that I think you target, assuming you can keep Nelly and JT.
Oh man, you're right on point. Like you said, a sniper like Royce Only. When Royce Only went down for us and we lost in the tournament, that killed us.
Come on, man. You had Tom Starkey.
Like I said, that killed us. No, but Tom was good.
He came
though.
up big
I
in that
felt
Butler game, man. He was big against Butler. See?
Yeah, I felt like he was on the rise coming up. He did play good though.
Yep.
But it was just different with Royce. It's just a different
I'm kidding.
energy. Yeah, I know. It's just a different mentality with Royce, right? And then you had Clayton Shields that come and do and that came and did what he did. And Clayton was a 3-4, which is I think what you're kind of looking for, because he can play both. And then JT can maybe even play the 5 at some point, right? And then it's a smaller team, but they're more athletic team. But I feel like that 3-4, like you just said, is one of the bigger components of what they need first, I think.
Chopping up Kenny Thomas here on the opening drive. When you look at the season as a whole, and they were able to cut down nets in Las Vegas, night in and night out, there was energy. And you lose, at the end, it's always that weird vibe of the finality of the season. But, looking back, how would you grade the Lobos this year?
Non-conference play, I felt like it could have been stronger. Conference play, it started off rocky, got good, got rocky again, finished pretty good. I felt like they were coming out with a lot of energy when they went to Utah State, lost by 2, going into the tournament. Won 4 games in a row. House was playing great ball. I just felt like they got away from pick and rolls and different things like that to where it was helping them like space out the floor and stretch the defense a little bit. Overall, winning the Mountain West Conference tournament is huge, man, because they have an opportunity to come out and defend that next year. It's going to come down to those pieces that Jeff said that they need as far as a sniper and a swing, a 3-4 swing player that can actually get to the basket and be athletic and do those types of things. But I think it was a pretty good year. I feel like the seeding that they got was a little low. That probably didn't benefit them from that perspective. But overall, I mean, if I got to give a grade or something like that, I would say like a B. B+ or something like that.
You can take a break. When we come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about the other teams in the conference, how they did. I got to talk to you about the Nevada collapse. San Diego State's still alive. And I got a couple NBA things for you, including this Jonte Porter gambling story that came out this morning. So stick with us. Kenny Thomas is here. It's Kicking It with Kenny. We'll continue with him on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The best of the birthday is back. We know you're.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
The Sports Animal.
All right, kicking in with Kenny here on the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and former Lobo great Kenny Thomas is with us. And we've been talking about the NCAA tournament and the Lobos. Kenny, you got 6 conference teams got in the Mountain West. One still alive in the Sweet 16 at San Diego State. Nevada had a 17-point lead and blew it in the last 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Utah State won a game, got blued out by Purdue. Colorado State wins a game. They got beat in a competitive game, although they scored 11 points in the first half. Overall, I think we all would have liked to see the conference do a little bit better. What did you think?
Well, you had Colorado State that played pretty good. They won the first play-in game, and then they lost, obviously. Purdue, obviously, well, we didn't expect them to go out there and win that game. I actually reached out to Coach Painter. I met him on an airplane coming back from Albuquerque. I got Purdue winning the whole thing. But the way Boise State and those other teams outside of San Diego State, the way that they played this season was amazing. I like the fact that 6 teams got in the conference. I mean, in the NCAA tournament, because they earned it, and a couple of those teams are in the top 25, right? So I just felt like they were a little bit disrespected because it was the Mountain West Conference. And then you have Nevada. I know everybody wanted that to kind of happen, but how do you lose and then you're up by 17 points? That's insane, especially with them being a more dynamic offensive team, and they're pretty long on the defensive end. But San Diego State, man, are we really surprised? I'm not. But the way that they just handled Yale the other day was was pretty impressive, even though it's Yale, right? They usually play very smart basketball, but San Diego State can really make some noise. I can see them getting back to the Final Four.
They got to play UConn now. If they can shoot like that, man, that was their best. They were above 300, like 300 and something in 3-point shooting in the country. I think they're now 292 after that. But they were 13 of 27 from three. If they can make shots, that makes them a totally different team. I mean, totally different team. Now, can they beat UConn? I don't know that they can. It's a rematch of the national championship game. But that was a different team when they can score. Like, holy smokes, San Diego State defends and they score?
Yeah, because when they're putting it all together, they're a totally elite team. That's why they got the 5th seed. You can totally tell, like, they're a squad that was just there last year, right? And they're getting the respect that they're supposed to be getting, which is good for the Mountain West Conference. And the way that San Diego State's playing right now, I feel like with D obviously making second, I think he was on second team all college, right?
D was third team All-America AP. Yeah, third team.
There we go. I was close. I wanted him to be second.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's impacting the game, obviously he's going to be a good player in the NBA. It's just a matter of San Diego State comes out and defends, especially with them having the defensive player of the year at the guard position, Butler. It's going to be nice to see how they actually can move forward. And I totally agree with you. They can make some noise if they can get up there and beat UConn.
Kenny Thomas with us for a few more minutes as we kick it with Kenny here on these Sports Animals.
Now, Kenny, what's it take to even just win one game in the NCAA tournament? You know, there's so much. Everyone gets hyped and looking forward, but you got to win one. Now, how much does it take to win one game because you know how to do that?
It's huge, man. I appreciate that, JJ. It's huge, man, and it wasn't just me. Each year, there was a different player that impacted the game, like Tom Starkey. Just kidding.
No, you ain't kidding with that. He was big in that Butler game in Kentucky.
He was. I'm just kidding with you, Jess. He really was. But Starkey was a different dude, man. He was a little weird, but that's
all
just
right.
me.
We're all a little weird.
But especially you.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it is hard winning a game because I actually did it every year. And we play some big-time schools. And people didn't expect us to win a lot of those games throughout the 4 years I was in college. But we were close, almost got to the Sweet 16 a couple times, but it didn't end up happening. It's hard because you got to get ready for a team in limited amount of time, and you have to go out there and play. Anything can happen, and playing against some of these bigger colleges and bigger conferences is not easy.
What do you think of all this talk about expanding? I mean, I hate it. I think the NCAA tournament is so good, but they want to make the one bid conferences in the play-in games, give the SEC more. What do you think of it?
Well, it's all about money, right? It's like the NBA playing teams. It's more revenue and it's more opportunities for the players. But I like the competitive side of it. When I was in college, it was 64. Now it's 68. I feel like it shouldn't go that much more as far as teams. I think because it's kind of taking out the exclusivity as far as allowing teams to get in. I would say because it should be harder to get in. But obviously, I like the fact that they're giving teams another chance to get in that wouldn't typically get an opportunity, so that's good. But I don't like the number going up that much more. I think they should keep it where it is.
All right, lastly, before we get out of here, there's a story that came out this morning. Jonte Parker, Jonte Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, is on a two-way contract in the NBA with the Raptors. And there's an investigation this morning on a betting thing. So evidently there were two games, one in January and one last week, where a large number of bets came in on the under on his prop bets, on his points, on his rebounds, on his I think 3-point shots. And in both those games, he left the game early. One with an eye injury, one he said he didn't feel well. And there were like $20,000 bets on the under on Jonte Parker's points. How tough would it be? I mean, you played 11 years in this league. And this is something that's really scary to anybody involved with the NBA because talking about rigs and betting and all that stuff, How tough would it be for a dude to tell his boys, hey, man, go bet the under on me. I'm going to be sick tonight, and you're going to hit?
Man, it's
it's scary, right?
First off, it's beyond scary. You got to realize, man, like, you're in the NBA, you're making significant amount of money, and you get an opportunity to follow your dream. Why would you take a chance like that to go out there and bet on something to where you can possibly get caught? And then what? You're not going to be in the NBA anymore, and then you don't make any money at all.
They're going to catch you, dude. They're going to catch you.
That's one of the biggest things ever as far as gambling. Did you remember the referee?
Yeah, Tim Donahue.
The white referee? Yep.
Tim Donahue.
Yep. Prime example. Betting, got caught up in Vegas, ended up going to jail.
Yep.
And then you lose all of your benefits and stuff. And why? I'm like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Go bet on something else. Why would you bet on your make a bet on yourself?
Because you can control it. Because you can control it. And that's what's so scary about this whole thing, dude. You these prop bets. If somebody said, "Hey, here's X number of dollars," just go out early in this one game. Your eye hurts, or you pulled your hammy, or you roll your ankle because I'm betting all your unders. Go out early. I mean, it's this guy's only making $415,000 a year. Now, to your point, if this is true, he's never going to play again. Never going to play again.
Oh, he's done. He's done, and he probably will end up in jail. It's a federal offense too. Yeah. It's that big, and it's like, so why would you put everything at stake?
I agree with you.
And then I don't understand that.
It
makes no sense. I think that is the stupidest, most idiot thing you can possibly do, and everything is about to be over.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
For a couple bucks. All right, man. What do you got going?
None, man. I'll be back. I'll be back next week to come in the studio. Oh, man, I'm chilling right now. Just got a lot of different things going. Hopefully next week I can make a big announcement that I have going on with some government entities there, and go from there.
All right, you can follow him on the social media. It's Kenny Thomas NBA. He's everywhere. You can get his wine up at in Santa Fe and at Albertsons on Tramway and Academy. No, I know. I got you. Don't forget the wine.
Hey, guess what? I got something for you, though. I just found out yesterday.
What's up?
I'm in 12 Albertsons now,
really?
My wine.
Really?
I'm even up in Taos. I got 3 in Santa Fe, and I got 9 in Albuquerque now. I just found out from Southern Glaciers.
Damn, Kenny Thomas grape juice everywhere.
Say it again?
Kenny Thomas's grape juice is everywhere.
JJ, you're going to allow him to get away with that?
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
This guy.
All right, man. We'll talk to you Friday. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thanks. I appreciate you both. I'll talk to you.
Kenny Thomas. We're kicking it with Kenny. His grape juice is everywhere. All right. When we come back, JJ, 2 big things. Do not leave, because you're going to want to hear what Pete Rose had to say about Shohei Ohtani. I mean, yes. And a Jimmer sighting. Jimmer Fredette is going to be in the Olympics. You're like, wait, what? How, what, and with whom? It's next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Baseball.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
I turned on the mountain, I saw you shoot an effortless 3, and I could have sworn, baby,
you did it just for me.
You say you're from New York,
And it is the video that's just as good, isn't it?
but heaven seems more like
What about
it.
Jimmer? USA basketball today.
So baby, come on over, be my blanket.
Did you hit the one where I didn't care much about sports until I saw you in your shorts?
I
think that one's coming up next. USA basketball. Oh, there it is.
Till I saw you in your shorts, I wanna be with you.
Jimmer. The beauty is Jimmer's back. USA basketball announced its 4-member 3-on-3 national team for the Paris Olympics. Did you know 3-on-3 basketball was an Olympic sport? Did you know that?
I did not.
I'm not sure I did either. It will be Jimmer, Canyon Barry, the son of NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry, Kareem Maddox, and Dylan Travis. They'll return after they won the silver medal at the 2023 World Cup for Team USA. So Jimmer played 6 seasons in the NBA, 2 years in China. Maddox is a forward who played at Princeton for several years. Has won 5 gold medals in international competition with Team USA going back to 2019. Travis is a Division II player at Florida Southern. So there you go. Jimmer's back. It's kind of a big deal, I guess. I mean, I imagine. All right. And then there's this. I mean, I mean, okay. Shohei Ohtani yesterday. You saw what he came out to say. Basically, his interpreter JJ stole from him, right?
Yes.
And there's been a lot of comparisons, Pete Rose and all this thing. So, what's the context on this Pete Rose comment?
he was just asked in general what he thought about the
Somebody
Ohtani
went out
deal.
and found Pete Rose and just like
he's like at a restaurant. I'm not sure if it's in Vegas or if he's posting up.
Pete Rose looks like he's sitting at a sports book, honestly.
I mean, right?
Yeah, that's Pete Rose. Yeah, he's wearing his all white Reds hat.
All right, this is Pete Rose, who's been banned from baseball on what he got out of watching Shohei Ohtani yesterday.
Well, back in the 70s and 80s, I wish I'd have had an interpreter. I'd be scot-free.
That's it. That's my take, right?
Have yourself a fall guy.
You know, as this thing gets bigger, it's just hard to wrap your mind around because on the surface, what we know for sure is he had at least 8 $500,000 transactions go to a bookmaker with known relationships with former teammates. That's really crazy.
Yeah. All right. I think this noise is I'm looking into some of this, JJ, and have you been staring at kind of what we were talking about during the break?
Yep.
There's a little noise around this, isn't there?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of noise coming out of Louisville right now. Richard Pitino's name is being linked quite often now to Louisville and to that vacancy. And obviously there's a whole lot of history with the Patinos and that program. And there's, I don't know, a moderate size of people talking about Richard Pitino.
Well, they're looking for a head coach.
They're looking for a head coach.
They're desperate. They thought Dusty May, the FAU coach, was their next coach. He goes to Michigan.
Yeah.
They're floundering because Louisville believes they're still the bee's knees. And when they're not getting their guys, it's a job that you understand, yeah, you're getting a bag to go there, but they're also going to fire you in 2 years. So,
what would they pay? I mean, that would be a north
Richard
of $3 million
Pitino,
job, right?
I think it was someone started talking about it. It hit on one of the shows there. And then once that's out there, you start getting the social media reaction to the name.
So essentially, it was on a sports talk radio station back there, right? And DC, I know you've been getting a few calls on this as well. But it's like, I don't know if there's anything to it. I got somebody said, well, he's on a plane and he's going back there to interview. I don't have any verification of that. I don't know that. I've asked UNM if in fact they have been asked for permission for Louisville to talk to Richard Pitino. I've not gotten an answer. But there's, I mean, the more I start digging and looking at some of this noise, there, first of all, I'm not going to tell you that the majority of Louisville fan is loving this, are they?
No, I really wonder if any of these coaching searches, is there a fan base that
is
ever thinks they have a good coach?
Yeah, fair enough. No, 100% fair enough. 100% fair. Louisville is an interesting job. It's an ACC job, obviously. There's a lot of money there. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of tradition there. They are about as down as JJ they've ever been, right? I mean, I can't recall them ever being here. So if you go in and make them, get them in the NIT next year and the NCAA tournament the year after, you're doing a hell of a job there. That's a tough league now.
So Kenny Payne, their former coach,
yeah,
it was $3.3 million.
All right. I mean, this is kind of that realm, right? Where, like, we had a conversation. I mean, I don't know how many times. We know that Richard turned down South Florida last year, right? And it was like a 1.6, 1.8 million. I think 1.8 million. And I think the thought was Richard's going to have success this year and get a north of $3 million, close to $3.5 million job in this offseason, in this cycle. And I don't think that I mean, nobody was whispering that. That was being said out loud, right? I don't think that was a secret. He had success, and so if his name is up for jobs, I got nothing stable on this. I just, all of a sudden in the last hour, the noise got really loud on this, and I'm getting more and more people hitting me with this. I'm reading more on this, so I'll look for it and we'll see. But this is something that just keep an eye on in the next 24 hours. Just keep an eye on this because we'll see. It could be nothing and it could be something. All 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Text line says, I'll respond about the seeding question. UNM was favored, so it was as if they were the sixth seed. By the way, UNM has not had a great history with being the higher seed, Harvard and Stanford. No, you're right. You're right. They were favored, and they were the dark shirts. Different number says the multi-team events are nice, but the committee did mention specifically non-conference road games. That needs to be fixed. UNM needs to play more true road games, but it's a revenue thing, so where can UNM make up lost revenue? Here's the deal. So if the conference is expanding to 20 games next year, that's 2 less available games in your non-conference schedule, probably 2 less spots to go play a true road game. And by the way, not a ton of people are playing true non-conference. Right? There are some. San Diego State went to Gonzaga. They went to BYU. They went to Grand Canyon. And that's one of the reasons San Diego State got the 5 seed, even though their record wasn't stellar, and New Mexico beat them twice. They went on the road, won at Gonzaga, lost to Grand Canyon, and lost to BYU, but those were 2 teams that were tournament teams. Those were quad 1 losses.
San Diego State's in a different spot. They can get home and home, and they can do that. And for the Lobos, other teams, I think Boise State's a good example of a non-conference schedule that they shouldn't be ashamed of, but you still look back and only got a 10 seed out of it. You're going to have to take one roadie at a tough spot and realize that you're not getting the return game on the back, and then your home games are going to be what you're used to in non-conference play.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right, 505-246-0610. Come on in. We got time for you. I got some emails I got to read for you as well, and we'll get you ready for the rest of your day. We could just close out the OD today with the Jimmer song, says Maurice. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Like me, sure that you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros,
it's worth something. Sometimes it's worth nothing. So there's a lot of Twitter noise in the last hour. Richard Pitino and Louisville. This is Cardinal Confidential saying it's down to him and Josh Schertz from Indiana State. And like there's a lot. You got a call from somebody saying that Richard was on his way. I can't confirm that. I do not know that. But on his way to Louisville right now.
That's what the caller said. And, obviously it wasn't on air. It was kind of ominous, though,
yeah,
the way it was put out there.
So I think it could be absolutely nothing. All I know is there's a lot of chatter on Twitter.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Paulie, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Paulie.
Good morning. Long time no talk, gentlemen. Hope all is well. But I just wanted to touch base in regards to a lot of pressure these coaches are under nowadays. With the evolving of the NIL and all of it. I mean, I look at Lincoln Riley and normally a coach would have never done what he did, where it's gotten to the point where it's either you have to win now or you're on the street, and he's bringing in guys that could easily normally would be a threat to take his job. But I mean, they're building a program out there that's unbelievable. Went from 78th in recruiting to now 3rd. And then I look at, the bad draw that New Mexico got, with, against Clemson. I mean, I followed UNC basketball in the ACC for years, and then that style just gave them so much trouble. But it's like the loyalty is pretty much gone now, where you see a lot of these coaches now where they're just like trying to do anything they can to win. Ryan Day accepting Chip Kelly as an offense coordinator, and it's just that people just. It's just crazy how the college game is evolving now. You got coaches bolting for the big payday because they don't know if they're ever going to get that again, and hence with this Pitino situation, it's unfortunate because New Mexico has such a rich program history throughout the years, and it'd be nice for somebody to stick around and kind of build that, but obviously money just see thrown in people's faces, they're going to bolt, but. Anyway, gentlemen, listen, man, it's good to be back in New Mexico. You guys take care, and we'll keep in touch.
All right, Paulie, thanks. Good to hear you. There's one source right now, like basically reporting it's done. That's the only one.
Don't buy it.
I'm not.
Everyone can be a source on Twitter.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But there's a lot
sources
of noise.
telling me.
Yeah,
I'm drinking more coffee.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea. Grady says, be kind, rewind. Stadium child rearers with the OD and the AM. When I hear the crotchety old men crying and whining about kids in the transfer portal, I think of the old curmudgeon with his VCR opining away about how great Blockbuster Video was. He can't stand all the mercenaries like Netflix and their chilling. Prime Video, Paramount, and hula hoops. I remember when I could rent a movie, eat popcorn, and be in bed by 9 for $5. All these newfangled studios have made watching unbearable. And while I'm still going out to watch The Mercenaries, I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm certainly going to bellyache about it to everyone daily. What really gets me is how these whiners and practitioners of revisionist history, kids transferred back then, both in and out of the program, fans don't embrace every long team player. There are plenty of them that fans wanted to run out of town. nor did they label every transfer as a mercenary. It's crazy how some alleged fans treat kids that choose to come to play for the local university. Look, I'm sure every single one of those hate emailers lived in the same house, had the same job, drove the same car, and ate the same dinner since the 70s. Why else would they hate change so much? Players have choices and options, which is good, and some of you hate that. You hate the idea of a young student athlete not being forced to be blindly loyal and eternally grateful to UNM for offering them a scholarship. I hate to break it to you, but some of those 3 to 4 year players that you love probably didn't have the blind loyalty that you think they did. They just didn't have the freedom of choice and movement afforded today's athletes. Get over yourself. Be grateful these mercenaries choose your state's flagship school. Adjusting to the new D2 track and field schedule, Grady in Santa Fe by way of busted Brackettville. That's from Grady. All right, 505-246-0610. Howie, good morning, Howard. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning, guys. You know, I'd be really disappointed if I saw Pitino leave. The program's at a pivotal point, in my opinion. And but if he left, you know, I had the same opinion when Alford left. You got to go do what you got to do for you, right? I mean, if he were to go to bigger and better things, congratulations, and thanks for you infusing a little enthusiasm in our program for the last 3 years. Now, having said all that, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, Jamal Mashburn has got pretty close ties with Pitino. Mm-hmm. And him hitting the portal, you think there's anything going on there?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know that they directly correlate, but would you be surprised if Richard ends up in Louisville and Jamal ends up in Louisville? Would that surprise you?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think it would surprise anybody.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. See you. All right. Kind of crazy, huh? What are you finding? Anything of substance?
No. Nothing of substance.
There's a lot of conjecture out there, but I mean, it just
because it's been obviously they're talking about it in Louisville.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the reaction is guys reacting to a show that they're doing right now and saying, why is this even real? Are you guys pretending this? So it's that type of stuff.
Okay. Of course, look, Rick Pitino was at Louisville for a long time. Richard's dad, a long time. Remember, he was fired at Louisville. At one point, this was back in 2020, he said, I deserve to be fired at Louisville. Was I innocent of any wrongdoing? Yes, I was, but I was the leader and I deserved to be fired. I need to move on. That's what I probably learned the most. Remember that was that whole situation that included alleged payments to family of a recruit, and they had the parties with the escorts and with the recruits and all that. And Rick Pitino's like, well, I didn't know any of that. I don't know where the money was coming. I didn't, right? But he also was very successful.
Was my interpreter.
It was my interpreter
did not know.
I don't look. He won an NCAA championship there, right? He's got a great history there. Richard grew up in Kentucky. I'm just saying, look, if there's something there, I don't think any of us are going to be surprised by this. But it's something that may develop here in the next few hours. And there's a whole lot of noise coming out of Louisville, Kentucky right now. And I did put in an inquiry over to UNM to ask if, in fact, Louisville had asked for permission to talk to Richard Pitino. I've not gotten a response on that. It's quiet. Look, they could be in meetings. They could, it's be interesting. You might be, are we on a coaching search when we sit down here tomorrow?
Wow. That could be.
Tune in to find out.
Right, and then everything's up in
on the next episode.
All right, what do you want to know as you go through your day? Jimmer Fredette is a Olympian. That's the biggest story, right, to me? Hardly.
Buckets.
Hardly.
Jimmy Buckets.
But we got to play the Jimmer Fredette song, so that's really what matters.
We're going to have to play the Aztec song? Win, cut down nets.
They didn't cut down nets.
They didn't cut down nets, but they win.
They do. UCONN is next. You ever see that Aztec song? I saw Tim Shelton the other day. Was he Colorado State, right? At some of the conference.
Take a picture of him?
No, I didn't. Although that popped up on me while I was there.
Why is this guy
yeah.
so interested in me? Because we love your music, Tim.
His music video is spectacular. Literally spectacular. All right, you get Lakers and Bucks tonight if that's something to you. You get Golden State Warriors and Miami Heat if that is something for you. So you get that. Did you watch any of the women's tournament, by the way?
Of course.
I watched some Iowa last night against West Virginia. I saw USC Kansas. I did watch a little of the women's tournament.
Juju Watkins.
Juju can ball, dude. Iowa's not that good, are they? I mean, outside of Caitlin Clark.
Absolute one-trick pony. And that pony is Caitlin Clark, the baller.
I mean, outside of that, I was watching it. I'm like, okay, somebody else is going to have to do something, aren't they? Like somebody else is going to have to do something. Because, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't a lot there. All right. And you were at the Gladiators last night, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was frustrating when you lose the game with 13 seconds.
And what was it, like 25-19 or something?
Yeah. Well, it was, yeah. The go-ahead score was it 30, 30,
13
26?
seconds to go.
Yeah.
And Nate Davis, their former quarterback leading San Diego, they three interceptions last night. So they really, really struggled. But it was I took a look at it and I watched it last night, and I think they
cotton candy, Doritos, kid had a blast.
Is that really all that matters, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to find you a final score. Is it week 2, week 1? What the hell week is it?
Week 2.
Is it week 2?
Yep.
All right, I don't know what the hell the score was. I mean, I'll find it. I just know they lost. Here it is, 32-26, and I know they threw 3 interceptions, and I know that their former quarterback came in and beat them. But yeah, you went out last night. That's a good time. It always is. All right, tomorrow, Lord knows, man. I mean, honestly, like we could have gigantic stories sitting in our lap when we sit here tomorrow. Thanks to Kenny Thomas for being with us. Keep an eye on that story. Keep a listen on us. We'll be on it as we go through it. The 2 Men On will be in at 4:00. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that, and then we're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Adrian looks great on the TV side. Way to roll with the stuff. Way to find the Pete Rose stuff today, the Jimmer song. I know you got a lot going on back there. Glad you're here, man. Really glad you're here, DC. Big day for you.
Huge day.
See you at lunch, huh? Enjoy it. Be
See what that secret dessert is for the isotopes.
It's ice cream based. See you opening drive. Thanks for being with us. Be good to each other. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken,
red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.